Well, welcome back, everybody. This is another Sunday night conversation. Jinx, you owe me a soda. Do I get to hit you? Which one is it? I
I
forgot.
don't know. You can hit me.
I don't want to get
Yeah,
accused of it.
violence.
What do you identify as again?
Man.
Okay. Oh, sorry. It's my ice. Granny called us pansies earlier today. I'm a
It's
little.
cold. It's like what, 5 degrees
It said
outside?
it was 6 degrees outside. We walk in, we're like, it's cold, and Granny's like, y'all are a bunch of pansies.
Hey, Granny,
What? She goes, I just went out to the mailbox. It ain't that
I
bad.
got my long johns on today.
I came in with my hoodie, and she looked at me like I'm a crazy person. I'm like, they just built different back then.
Yeah, she's probably tougher than we are, honestly.
We are, yeah. Granny is way tougher than us. They say every generation gets softer as they go. We are compared to Granny. Granny's like, I'd say like almost like a bulletproof vest. I'd say like almost like the new Teslas, the Cybertrucks. Like you see, like that's Granny.
You shoot one of your arrows at it like Joe Rogan.
And we're like the playmate.
Off.
We're like the playmate car.
Oh my gosh.
We got hit with that same.
I hope we're not that soft. Well, I'm going to work to not be that soft.
Yeah, well, we're trying to be better men, more masculine, be stronger in our will, be stronger in our physical appearances and physical presence, and just be stronger here too.
Yeah, well, you know that saying that they say, like, good times create soft men create hard times create strong men,
Yep.
hard men.
Which I can never get that one right, but
it's something like that.
yeah.
But that's kind of like we are now. Is we've had such good times that men are soft these days.
yeah.
I mean, that's kind of
The people are soft.
Yeah,
It's like
people,
men, women. It's the same way across the board. But
But we're working on it.
We're working on it.
ourselves. Like
Who
we
knows?
always say, we do ourselves first so we can help our families and our communities.
exactly. Well, I mean, last week we introduced
got a new
multiple new
segment.
things to people, and this week we got another. I believe we called it Jarrett Checks the News, right?
Yes.
Do-do-do-do-do-do-do-do.
Well, this just came across the wire.
What came across the wire there, Jarrett?
Well, this week a bunch of football coaches have retired.
Oh yes, I know some of the goats.
Some
dude.
of the goats, some Super Bowl
crazy.
national championship winners. We've had Nick Saban step down from Alabama,
Mm-hmm.
and Belichick step down from New England.
Yep.
And then Pete Carroll. I think this was. I heard somebody say it was all in like within a 12-hour span. All
Yeah.
three coaches. It's like, do you think they were like talking to each other and like, hey, I'm
Probably
doing it now today.
Is that
You
group
do it
chat?
today? Yeah, group text. Belichick.
I did see a meme. Somebody said like Saban was like, and Belichick were talking. He's like, I'm gonna do mine on Tuesday, or Belichick's, I'm doing mine on Tuesday, and Saban says, no, I'm doing mine on Tuesday, and he goes, fine, I'll wait on until Wednesday then.
You know what? One thing that they all had like in common though
What's that?
is just work ethic and just being
Yeah.
able to be in there every day. Those guys put some of the best football teams out on the field and created some of the best men out there.
Well, they created dynasties. If you
Yeah.
really think about it, I mean, it's you could argue, Seahawks had a dynasty,
He's a lower level
but
of the other two.
but at two different levels, he
Yeah.
created dynasty.
oh yeah,
dynasties.
USC. I forgot about that.
So that's where and I don't want to talk about those
Yeah.
games, but that's like to your point. They were men who had standards. They set and
Yeah.
built this program within their programs, and they had an undeniable work ethic.
Exactly.
And there's something to be said about work ethic right now. I know a lot of you all would agree with us. Like we probably are lacking that, especially in the younger generation. Like work ethic is just not there.
And they're all what, in their 70s?
72, like all
Hey,
of
they
them.
picked a good time to retire.
Yeah.
Some people need to retire when they get that age.
Yeah, I mean, unlike certain people who are 90 years old voting on policies and then dying the next day.
Yes, we have old people running this country.
Like you would think coaching, something like that they're like, they don't have boundaries or whatever either.
Yeah.
Term limits for coaching, but like, there's
I got a
certain
point. Don't you want to just like be a grandparent and spend time with your family?
I think so. I think that's what's saving.
That's what I hope to do one day.
It's like
I don't want to be working in my 80s.
no, heck no.
That's not my plan. Anyway, I think we should get to the
But
next
I think I will probably kind of work till I die.
We'll do something.
Because that's kind of like how we were raised in this world.
Yeah.
Like if you're not moving, like Granny I was like,
That's
if I'm not moving,
But she doesn't work for somebody.
no,
she works
just
for
works.
herself.
She works, yeah exactly.
Yeah, that's kind of what I'm getting at. But
All right, on to the next.
next headline that just came across the wire just now. Across the wire, whatever time it is.
What are we,
This is-
1940? This just in.
So we've got kind of bad weather here.
Yeah.
Well, in New York, kids are getting a day off of school, but not for bad weather.
No snow days in New York?
No.
What?
They needed somewhere to put the illegal immigrants.
Oh, man.
So they kicked the kids out of their school and sent them home and said, hey, we're letting all these illegal immigrants stay in your school. I saw a video, and there was a mom, and she was out there, like, protesting it, and she was not happy.
Can you imagine your kid goes to a school
that you pay taxes,
that you pay taxes
to
for in
build
your district,
and to keep going,
and they say, "Oh, don't come today," because
we're letting all these people who broke the law and came into this country, they're going to come take your kid's spot for the day.
and see, to me, it starts in the school right now, but I don't think it's gonna stop at the schools.
They've also mentioned letting people into your home. You've got a spare bedroom. They've said this in these big cities. You got a spare bedroom or something. Let somebody stay in there.
Yeah, this is the stuff they did in 1770.
Yeah, isn't that like where you're not supposed to give quarter to soldiers?
Yeah, well, didn't they know they did that? Because they said it was the British, right?
Yeah,
Like they wanted.
That's why that's in the amendment, like the constitutional amendment, the Bill of Rights, is you don't have to give quarter. They say soldiers, but I mean it could just be foreigners in general, people who have illegally came into the country that you're being forced to let into your home.
Who's saying they're not soldiers? That's a conversation for another time.
Yeah. Well, we're going to stay in New York for this next headline.
Right.
Something that you've seen is there was a little bit of controversy on what's been going on, but there's been some tunnels discovered.
Oh my! This is the juiciest one. I was on X, whatever is Twitter now, the other morning when it dropped, and I just saw
these videos.
I just saw it popping out of tunnels in New York. I'm like, what is going on here? And then I just saw like the inside of the whatever it's called, the Shabab or
their temple.
Their temple, but it's also like a big educational.
Yeah, it's where they. I actually do. I think I'm wrong there. I think there's a temple, and then there's a place that they like the education,
and that's where that is where they like the seminary, basically school. And I just saw mattresses and then cops. And like it was
people were
crazy.
getting arrested and stuff. Apparently, they were going to cement some tunnels, and these guys were fighting the cops because they didn't want them to.
They did cement the tunnels.
Did they do it? Yeah. Eventually. Okay.
Yeah. And we don't know exactly what these so-called tunnels are for.
Yeah, they were digging them during COVID. I've heard a lot of stuff. Who knows?
Do your own research on that one, but that is interesting, man.
Yeah.
The digging tunnel. Imagine how hard that had to be in New York to figure out like how we're gonna dig tunnels around things.
I saw somebody ask, I wonder if they took the dirt out like Shawshank. It's like, you know how you take it out in his pockets and dump it in the yard. It's like, where were they doing with all the dirt that came out of there?
That is true.
If they were digging these big tunnels,
I don't know.
Yeah,
that's a good question.
I don't know. There's a lot of questions.
Well,
more questions than answers.
My other question for you all who need to ask on this one is like, why be so fast to cement in the tunnels if you haven't figured out what the tunnels were for?
Yeah. What was going on? We don't know.
Okay. Well, that's enough of those questions.
Yeah. Another one that we still have more questions and answers for this next headline is the U.S. government has lost track of over $1 billion in weapons that we sent to Ukraine. You know what $1 billion is?
We lost $1 billion?
$1 billion worth of weapons. They did the same thing when we pulled out of Afghanistan. They left all the weapons.
Didn't we already lose like some funds or miscalculated funds at one point?
I think they did that so they could send more money. If you ask me, they miscalculated the cost of things.
$1 billion
that came from your tax money that you paid for working. They sent it to another country in the form of weapons, and they lost them.
I bet you they're hijacked or something.
Yeah.
I don't know.
I heard that some of the weapons that have went over to Ukraine have been found on the black market.
That's crazy.
This is just what I've heard of.
That's wild, though. So
terrorists could be buying money or buying weapons that you paid for.
And I'm going to say a prayer after this one. That's frustrating.
It is. It's frustrating.
So frustrating.
How incompetent is our government that we pay trillions of dollars in taxes?
Is that a rhetorical question?
Yeah, I mean. So let's go to this is the final headline.
The final headline.
Yeah. Hopefully it's not the final headline we do, but.
Is there something we got to tell him, Mark? What happened? We just started this series.
Well, we're talking about Ukraine, and this is another place that things aren't going good, is World War III could be starting. We just sent a bunch of missiles into Yemen. The Houthis, I think, Houthis, whatever. But apparently they've been attacking cargo ships and stuff out there. And, I mean, I get it, we got to protect our own stuff, but they have threatened. They said that there will be a retaliation in the U.S. So if something happens and we've let all these people into the country that we don't know, literally I hear like 10, 12,000 people a day that come into this country. And if something happens because of this, the blame's going to go on somebody. Who
knows?
So is there going to be any accountability to the people that have caused this mess that we're in?
There never is. It's just like we talked about last week when it came to a certain documents coming out with names on them. There's no accountability. So
Yeah.
us as taxpayers and us as U.S. citizens should be very frustrated about a lot of all these news, these headlines.
Yeah.
But what are we going to do about it is the ultimate question. We come up here every week. We talk about these things. Like, well, what are we going to do? Have you called your representative?
Yeah. Are they going to listen?
Are they going to listen? Well, like,
Have
where
you ran for office?
And I'm like actually asking this question, like, what do we do? Like, we talk about rebelling all the time, and we're like, oh, dude, like, we're trying to do it from the standard standpoint of being men, but like as citizens of this country, like, what are we gonna do? Because like, when's enough with this? With this BS? Like, when is enough? And it's frustrating when you get, especially that last one. We're about to go into another potential war because we have morons running things.
Yeah, it's sad. And kind of just all this stuff that's going on makes you really look inward. That's what we try to do. When we talk about being a rebel, is we try to do the best we can on ourselves because, like you said, what do we do? You can only do so much. You're one person. Yeah. A bunch of people's voices together, we can do a lot. But we need all those people to be the best that they can be, so their voices mean more and they can speak louder. Yeah,
you have to be like we continue to preach about. You have to somehow find the best version of yourself, be excellent in more ways than one, because we're gonna need all of us to be at the top of our game when this time comes. Yeah. When we all do decide enough's been enough, and join forces and do something and unite this country. That's what we're all trying to do, is unite this thing. But everybody wants to. Like, it's just, we're just reading headlines. It's like, okay, if you can't understand that that's not good, that we lost $1 billion of weaponry.
And the thing is, a lot of people hear stuff like that and it just goes in one ear and out the other.
Whatever.
Yeah. They're too busy worried about, is Taylor Swift at the Chiefs game today?
Oh, distractions.
Yeah.
We talk
distractions. Yeah.
Granny's distractions.
Yeah.
Man. All right. Well, you know what we should do? We should move on to the stuff that actually means a lot here, and that can help save us, because today I'm feeling a little down after that bit.
I know, we need to lift our spirits back.
So lift my spirits up, Jarrett. What do we got today?
Okay, so should I get into the stuff
let's get into it.
So thank you guys who reached out. I got several emails for their Sunday night combos at gmail.com. Is it which way? This way. Sunday night combos at gmail.com. I think I got it right that time. But thank you guys who reached out, and I've got a couple of the emails here that I want to acknowledge, and I got some good stories from people and some heartfelt stuff that I want to mention. So the first one is Stephanie, and she emailed me, and she's going on her second trip to the Ukraine, a missionary trip.
Good for you, Stephanie.
Yeah, I know that's a dangerous place to be right now, and I think she's got just a few days, maybe a week or so before she goes back. So our prayers are with you, Stephanie, and good luck with everything, and may God be with you while you're out there.
And keep your eye out for $1 billion.
Yeah, somewhere. Yeah, Stephanie, go on the lookout.
I'm just saying, if you see those, you might bring some back with you. But really be safe, Stephanie.
Yeah. Okay, and then I got an email from Mary, and she was talking about hope and how hope gives us strength. And Mary said she used to be homeless, and her hope in God, and that he could give her strength to get through those hard times that she was going through, helped her to survive, and now she's doing much better.
That's great. I love that. Yeah. You know, somebody who's...
So you said you need our spirits lifted up?
Yeah, like right there, it's like, Mary, thank you.
Yes.
That's a beautiful story, because think about, like, what's the one where, like, things you can, like, not put yourself at mentally is not having a home. Can you imagine not having somewhere to call home? And she's there, but look at her now.
Yeah.
She's found hope because of the Lord, and she's seeing, you know, the light in the best way possible. So that's a beautiful story. Thanks for sharing that, Mary.
Yeah, thank you, Mary. And then Jess is a dairy farmer from Pennsylvania.
What's up, Jess? We love our dairy farmers.
Yeah, dairy farmers. Yeah, she's got cows too, but she does different stuff with them than we do.
That's okay.
Yeah, I love my milk. I drink a glass of milk almost every day.
I drink about 3 gallons a week.
Yeah, you go through, once you have kids, you start going through a lot more milk. That's true. But she got in a skid steer accident, and she had an accident where she got some of her fingers about ripped off. And she said that her faith in God got her through that hard lesson, you know, like when something bad like that happens, you can lose hope, like we were talking about, but her faith in God got her through that incident that happened, and she said she's doing much better now, and she has a son that she's thankful that she gets to see and get to be with. It could have been much worse, but her faith in God got her through it all.
That's good. Oh, so be careful out there, everybody. If you're ever operating a skid steer, just because they're like smooth and you feel protected, you can easily do
Yeah,
like.
I think she got thrown out the front of it. Yeah, so it can be dangerous.
I'm glad you're on the up and up, Jess. I'm glad
Yeah.
good thing God was with her.
Yeah, that's for sure. And then the last one, I had Miranda. She reached out to us, and she sent some verses from 2 Timothy, and she was talking about how, like we've been mentioning in our stuff, World War III and all the stuff going on, about how crazy things are in the world these days, and how listening to God and having faith in Him and hope in God is the best way to get through. Amen. And I want to read one of the verses that she sent me from 2 Timothy.
Is this our verse for the night?
This is our verse for tonight. Thank you, Miranda.
Thank you, Miranda.
For a time is coming when people will no longer listen to sound and wholesome teaching. They will follow their own desires and will look for teachers who will tell them whatever their itching ears want to hear. They will reject the truth and chase after myths. Wow. That's kind of like what we were talking about, is people only want to hear what they want to hear.
Yeah.
And we hear all these things going on, and you could brush them off and act like everything's fine. I'm worried about how my football team's going to do this weekend.
Yeah.
Or you can hear them, and you can find your strength in God and have hope that things are going to get better, and do the best, like we say, to rebel, and do the best yourself to become the better person to get through these hard times that we're living in.
And also being like that open allows you to have an open heart, which allows you to receive like God's love and God's blessings every day too. And like being more open-minded allows for a more joyful life in more ways than one. And to people who are so closed off to hearing, from this person or that person or whatever, just like be open, do your own research like we talk about, because in that you're allowing yourself to like learn and understand things. And when you really do your own research in the Bible,
it helps your discernment so much on being able to decide what is true and what's false.
Yeah.
Because there's so much lies out there, Heck, some of these stories I read could be fake.
Yeah.
We don't know. I don't know if we really lost $1 billion, but that's what the headline says.
Well, when you get, if it's not real right now, like they give you that and they give you a quick little snippet, and then they'll like 4 weeks later, oh, sorry, we're right about that.
Yeah.
We're going to send a redaction out.
Sees that part.
When no one sees it. And it's like also accountability.
Yeah.
Hold some people accountable for when they do stuff like that or lose money or whatever. But honestly, I love that Miranda shared that because it fit perfect with the news today, everything going on. And man, after you read that last headline, I'm like,
I need some hope.
I need something, Jared. So thank you, Miranda. That was a beautiful. That's 2 Timothy. You said
2 Timothy chapter 4.
Okay. All right, man. Well, what do you got? You get people email in there.
Sunday Night Combos at gmail.com. Send me some more emails.
Yeah.
I'm gonna try to respond to you, and if you send me something good, we're gonna talk about it here.
And if you have something like in depth, particular, if like a story or something, like even if it's just one, we have one that really touches. We may just share that. It may just be the only thing that gets shared, but thank you all for taking the time to do that. We love it. Love getting to interact with y'all outside of the comment section and all that. So
it's nice. It's nice to hear back from people and see how people's lives are out there.
Well, I guess we need to wrap it up and not get cold. We got a blizzard coming in, so we're gonna
go get some shooting done. We're gonna get some videos.
Shooting done. What kind of shooting?
With the camera.
Oh, okay. All right. I was like, oh man, I'm ready to go the other way too. We're always prepared.
That's true. You guys have a great week.
And God bless y'all.